Tech founders and VCs have completely brainwashed everyone into thinking that you need a groundbreaking innovation to make money, and that is complete bullshit. I went from $3,000 in the bank with a 2-month-old baby to $100,000 in 4 months. Not because I invented something new, but because I executed what already worked better than everybody else. And if you do not understand this critical piece, if you are still chasing the next big idea instead of mastering the boring fundamentals, you will waste years building nothing while plumbing companies and PPC agencies literally print cash at will. I'm going to show you the exact framework that took me from zero revenue to 100 grand in the bank in 120 days. 4 months. It wasn't through innovation, believe me, it was through constraint. And by the end of this, you'll understand the 4 strategic pillars and 3 daily rhythms that make success inevitable. Because here's what I learned. My back was against the wall, I was alone, it was cold, I had no plan B, baby screaming. Success is not a maybe, it is a non-negotiable. Let me take you back to January 2021. This is the moment that forced me to understand what actually builds businesses. I had 3 grand in the bank, no job, a 2-month-old baby crying in the next room. I'm sitting at my kitchen table with 2 choices. I either go back to finding safe employment or make this work. I chose the latter, so there was no plan B. There couldn't be. And that's when I realised something most entrepreneurs never learn. Constraint is freedom. When you have limited money, limited time, and unlimited desperation, you can't afford to waste energy on anything that doesn't directly generate revenue. You can't build fancy websites and branding. You can't work on your personal brand whilst you can't pay the bills. You can't spend 3 months perfecting your logo. You have to prove 3 things quickly. Someone will pay you, you can deliver a result, and you can repeat it. That's it. That's the entire game to go from 0 to 300k. I wish there was some magical story about how I discovered my niche, but there isn't. I got a job as a PPC executive, realised it paid well for the bosses and that I was significantly underpaid, and went all in solo. There was one sliding doors moment though that I would bring your attention to, because 2 days before my interview at the PPC agency, I actually missed a different job interview. And I missed it because of snow. I live on the coast of England, it never snows here. If I'd have made that interview and gotten that job, I wouldn't be here. My entire business, everything I've built, the 6 businesses I own now, the millions that I've made, none of that would have happened. It all happened because of snow. More life to snow, I guess. But once I found that path, I didn't look anywhere else. I personally managed my first 30 client accounts, not because I couldn't afford the help, but because you cannot delegate what you have not mastered. You don't know what good business looks like yet. You don't know what questions buyers ask when you're working on your own. You don't know what language closes the deals when you're working on your own. By month 4 of going solo, I lifted my head from my keyboard and had 100k in the bank. And that is when I knew that this is the way. But here's what most people screw up, and it cost me 6 to 9 months of my life and over 150k. The moment I started making money, I made the classic entrepreneur mistake, and you're probably making it right now, or you're about to. Listen, I come from nothing. When I was born, my parents were watering down milk to feed me. So what happened? I got distracted. I started getting traction with Google Ads, started making a bit of money, and instead of doubling down, I tried to diversify. I tried to be everything to everyone. I thought I should position myself as a full-service agency. I should build websites maybe, I should work on my branding. I should look professional. Meanwhile, there were leads coming from Facebook groups, Reddit communities where business owners were literally asking for Google Ads help, but I was busy trying to be everything to everyone. That mistake cost me 6 to 9 months and easily 150k in lost opportunity. And this is what pisses me off the most about the entrepreneurship space. It makes me furious because everybody is obsessed with the next big thing, the next AI tool, the next social platform, building the next innovative business model. But do you know what makes money? Plumbing companies, HVAC businesses, PPC agencies, boring shit, proven shit, unsexy shit. None of these are innovative, but they're printing money while everyone else is chasing unicorns that don't exist. So here's my controversial take, although it's correct. Stop trying to be innovative. Start trying to be reliable. The hustler stage isn't about changing the world. We are not there yet. It's about proving you can solve one problem for one person better than anybody else. I call this the strategic constraint model. 4 pillars, no exceptions. What are these 4 pillars? Pillar 1. Customer clarity. Pick one type of person with one painful problem that you can solve. Not I help businesses grow. Something specific like I help UK e-commerce businesses spending between 10 and 50k a month on meta ads who are seeing declining return on ad spend. When someone says anyone who needs X, they're going to struggle because anyone messaging makes no one think that's me. Pillar 2, solution singularity. One problem, one solution, one price. I had a client, let's call him David, running a premium outdoor gear e-commerce brand, 40k a month in ad spend, ROAS of 1.8. He was literally about to kill the entire marketing channel. But the problem wasn't Google Ads, the problem was his account was the most disgusting account that I've ever seen. Sorry, David, but it was. We didn't change his budget. We changed his system and strategy, rebuilt tracking, added qualification, fed his sales team only with qualified leads who wanted premium gear, not bargain hunters. It was the same 40k spend, different, improved strategy. Within 6 months, he was spending 250k in ad spend, a ROAS of 4.7, and guess what? He's still with me to this day, paying me $7,350 a month. Not because I'm cheap, but because I solve one problem exceptionally well. Stick with me now because pillar 4 is crucial, but pillar 3, conversion simplicity, the objection I used to hate. We tried ads, it didn't work. It made me want to scream. It really did. It made me furious. But now I smile because I know exactly what's happened. They didn't try ads and fail. They did ads incorrectly. Here's how I handle it now. I hear you. Most businesses say that when they've been burned previously, but here's what usually has happened. Broken tracking, no qualification system, especially now with AI. Diabolical ad account structure, garbage leads to your sales team. We rebuild tracking, add qualification, feed sales only qualified leads, so sales SQLs with the same spend, different system. That's how we built a 2.5 million pipeline for Evolution AV out of Canada. The best audio visual company in Canada. I did well over 1,000 sales calls in my first 2 years. Some weeks it was 6 to 8 calls per day. By call 400, I could sense within 90 seconds if someone was a qualified buyer. I could predict objections before they said them. That's not something you outsource, that's something you learn and earn. And finally, pillar 4, channel mastery. Pick one channel and dominate it. I chose Facebook groups and Reddit initially, any community-based elements. Places where business owners were actively looking for Google Ads help. The mistake is being on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, podcasts, newsletters, and networking events simultaneously. You're progressing nowhere. You end up in mediocrity everywhere instead of exceptional somewhere, which is the key. So here's what I'm asking of you right now. To commit to these 4 pillars for 12 months. One customer profile, one solution, one channel. No pivots. No trying something new. Why? Because success is not a maybe, it's a non-negotiable, and you make it inevitable through compound focus. But knowing the strategy is worthless without the daily discipline that turns it into cash. Forget building a personal brand. If you're under 300k, that advice is keeping you broke. You don't need an audience yet. You need cash flow. When I had 3k to my name and I didn't post pretty Instagram reels, I went where the money was. I went where the wallets were already open. Upwork, Fiverr, People Per Hour, Facebook groups, Reddit groups, these communities. Most creators are too proud for these. They say it's a race to the bottom. Well, good, because that leaves more money for us. These clients aren't in consideration phase. They have a credit card in hand. They're looking for a problem solver and they're looking for one today. I have made over $500,000 on the Upwork platform using one rule. Volume plus hyper specificity. 10 applications a day, non-negotiable. But here is where you win. Do not copy paste. Treat every application like a sales call. I send a custom loom with every single proposal. I have videos on this. You can check them out. While your competition is filling out forms, you are speaking directly to clients' pain points. You convert 20% of those, that isn't gig work, that's a 7,500k pipeline. While the applications run, you invade the communities, Facebook groups, Reddit, LinkedIn. But stop posting about yourself, nobody cares yet. Find the people asking, how do I fix this? And fix it for them in the comments. For free. Month 1, you're a ghost. Month 3, you're the expert that they recommend without you asking. You aren't building awareness. You are poaching clients by being the most helpful person in the room. And finally, the only content that you should be creating at this stage is the documentation log. Every single night, write down one thing that you learned, a client win, a mistake, a framework. I kept a Google Doc. That doc became my proposals. It became my LinkedIn comments. I wasn't guessing what to say. I was sharing battle-tested reality. Okay? Look, the reality of hitting 300k isn't sexy. My reality was 6 a.m, baby screaming in the background, tea's getting cold, sending my 10th proposal before most people woke up. It was boring, it was repetitive, and it worked because I treated it like a job, not a hobby. So this whole system, it takes 100% effort and focus. Most people try it for 2 weeks, don't see a check and quit. That's like going to the gym twice and asking why you don't look like The Rock yet, okay? You can grind the revenue, but there is a specific psychological gap that kills 80% of creators right after they start making money, and I almost fell into it myself. This is the invisible wall that stops most entrepreneurs dead. Week 6 to 8, you've picked your customer, your solution, and your channel. You're doing your daily rhythms, same conversations, similar outreach messages, the same service. And your brain starts screaming at you. This is boring. I should try something new. Maybe Instagram, maybe a second service. That voice is a double-edged sword because it will destroy everything right now, but it will give you tremendous power later. You have to remember this. Write this down. An eager beaver can be the collapse of a dam. Because guys, here's what is actually happening. Your messaging is getting clearer. Your sales conversations are sharper. Your market is recognizing you more. Your expertise is building and you're on the right path. You're right on the edge of breakthrough. And you want to pivot. Why? I see this constantly. I see it all the time. I look around. The entrepreneurs who succeed tolerate repetition longer than their competitors. That's all that they do. 50th sales conversation, still bringing energy. 200th LinkedIn message, still showing up. 40th client delivery, still caring about the details. Take my holiday home business as an example. 600 plus leads a month. Same system we built a year and a half ago. Boring sometimes. Effective? Absolutely. When you feel bored, that's not a signal to change. That's a signal you're building muscle memory. Elite athletes practice the same movements thousands of times. Elite musicians play the same scales endlessly. Elite entrepreneurs repeat their core motion until it is effortless. Because when you have $3,000 in the bank and a baby, failure is not an option. Success is not a maybe, it's a non-negotiable. So how do we know when you've actually mastered this stage? Here are 3 unmistakable signs that you're ready to level up. Signal 1, calendar saturation. Your calendar is pretty much full 1 to 2 weeks out. You're managing demand, not chasing clients anymore. Your pipeline is full. Signal 2, delivery consistency. You reliably predict outcomes. You have processes, case studies, testimonials, referrals, people who speak well about what you are doing for them. Signal 3, capacity ceiling. You physically cannot serve 5 to 7 more clients without breaking. For me, month 4, lifted my head from my keyboard, 100k in the bank, couldn't take another client comfortably. That's when I knew that this is the way. It's time to build leverage. But here's the mistake that everybody makes. You're trying to hire when you've only closed 8 deals, 10 deals. You're trying to systemize when you haven't done the work enough times. That's like writing an instruction manual because you once built a set of drawers from IKEA in 2009. Here's a quick story. Early on, I took a client on that I shouldn't have. We'll call him Mark. Before we even built the account, 2 weeks of paying, questioning everything, threatening a cancellation before we even got going. Great initial call, but I shouldn't have hired him because of the red flags. I refunded him, I cut him loose. That energy, I redirected it into growth. Clients made 50k in the next 90 days because I had bandwidth for people who value what I did. Some clients are simply energy vampires. You have to cut them fast. You've got to cut them off. So let me ask you directly, where are you actually stuck? This is where you have to be brutally honest with yourself. If you're not at 300k yet, what is your real barrier? Is it clarity? Do you know who your customer is in detail? Commitment? Have you committed to one thing for 12 months? It's not easy to do. Are you pivoting every 6 weeks? Is that the issue? Activity. Are you making daily offers? 10 to 20 outreach touches? Having enough sales conversations? Do you have the tolerance that it takes? Or are you giving up when it feels repetitive? Chasing novelty instead of mastery? The uncomfortable truth is that most people know exactly what they need to do. They're just not doing it with enough consistency or intensity. The gap isn't knowledge, it's execution. 99% of people quit when it gets hard. If you committed to one customer, one solution, one channel for 12 months, what do you think would happen? If you did one offer, 15 outreaches and one documentation piece every day for 90 days, how many deals do you think you would close? Calculate that, because the path to 300k isn't full of mystique, it's just uncomfortable. The entrepreneurs who win sit in discomfort long enough to reach mastery. They decide success is not a maybe, it is a non-negotiable. You now have the framework that took me from 3k and a baby to 100k in 4 months. You need to, the rock bottom principle, so what have we learned? Let's look back. The rock bottom principle, prove you can solve one problem reliably. The strategic constraint model, one customer, one solution, one channel, 12 months. Bleed the working channel dry before you even think think about diversifying. That's the criminal mistake. The revenue rhythm. One offer, 10 outreaches, one documentation every single day. Boring, repetitive stuff fueled by desire. You're not an entrepreneur anymore. You're a hustler who understands that plumbing companies, HVAC, PPC agencies, SEO agencies, and all the other businesses that have been around for decades aren't innovative, but they print money while everyone else chases unicorns. My final challenge to you, drop in the comments right now your ideal customer, your solution, and the offer that you're going to push next week. People who publicly commit are 65% more likely to follow through. So if you are wise enough to think it here, and you are brave enough to speak it, I promise you that it will happen for you. Do not be scared. Hit the comments, hit like, hit subscribe. The hustler phase isn't glamorous, but it's essential. Master the boring basics and everything else becomes possible. Now go and make that offer.